Whoops. Hi, good morning, and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 711, and we are live in Southwest Florida, rainy Southwest Florida, in my beautiful tropical backyard. I'm Kristin Omdahl. If you're joining me live, please say hello. Let me know if you're crafting today. Let me know if you have questions for me. Hello, Judy. Good morning. What is today? Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hi, Marcia. Good morning, Grace and Thea and Susie, Val. Hi, Melanie and Thea, Mindy, Christine. Good morning, Constance and Hills. Hi, Pamela and Freezaby, Lisa, Kathy. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hi, Marcia. Hi, Julia. Good morning. Hi, Kiranjit. Hi, Melissa. Good morning. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Cherie and Susie. Thank you, Susie. I'm wearing 2 French braids today. Hi, Mariana. Hi, Katina. My favorite style when I'm trying to train my hair to not be washed every day. Hi, Joe. So I put a little bit of dry shampoo in instead and bring it on back. It doesn't work very often though. I guess I'm just not consistent enough about training my hair. Thank you, Hills. This is the newest print that I've purchased on my favorite dress in my Amazon shop. Or I don't know if it's my favorite. I love all of the dresses that I buy there, but of the original A-line tank top dress. But this print is just a little bit different than the rest. Instead of being a small all-over print, it's more of a bold graphic print. They are big graphics, and I just love, you know how much I love fuchsia and hot pink, so to be, and blue. I mean, it's got all my colors in it, and I just think it is so pretty. I think it is the type of print that you could dress up and dress down. Not that I dress up anywhere, but I do believe that if I did need to dress up this dress, I think I could with heels and jewelry, and obviously dressing down is so easy. Flip-flops and braids, and I'm ready to go for the day. Hi, Jill from Michigan. I missed another name. Hi, Katina. Thank you, Hills. Hi, Donna and Freezaby. Hi, Joe. Hi, Judy. Thank you for sharing links, Judy. Judy just shared a link to this dress. It is not expensive at all. It's easy to throw in the washer and dryer, does not need ironing, and it comes in a gazillion prints, including that leopard print that I love, 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 and this one and so many others. Solid colors too. Like, I don't know, anytime I can wear a dress and feel like I feel put together and feel like I'm wearing pajamas at the same time, like, it's just lovely and cheap. It's just lovely. Anyway, I got a bunch of stuff I want to talk to you about this morning, but at the very last second this morning, I felt inspired to show you this. I know we have talked about this on Cooking Live before, but I don't know, you know how when you cross paths with people and the same subject seems to keep coming up? I feel like in the last few weeks, I've had conversations with people randomly that involved people not knowing how to cook meat well and kind of giving up on it and giving up on barbecuing for the same reason. And it is this particular tool is what has allowed me to grow as a I'm not a grill master, a barbecuer. I'm not a grill master yet. I think I could get there though. It's what has allowed me to have success on the barbecue with a variety of meats, and has always given me great success on the stove and in the oven. And that's a digital thermometer. Can you see this? Is that right? Yeah, there it is. It's a digital thermometer, and this one, you can use it as a meat thermometer. Yes, you can. I've also used it for making candy, like my very famous toffee recipe that I did in 80 Handmade Gifts. I can use it for that as well, but yes, most of the time I use it as a meat thermometer. And here's the really cool thing about this one. it's magnetized, so it sits on your fridge so you never lose it. Yes, it has worked for candy for me, Joe. I even use it to test the temperature on boiling water. If I'm boiling something and I want to know how close it is to the boiling point, you know how sometimes you want something to come to a simmer and not quite boil? It works for anything. You can find this in my Amazon shop under the cooking category or food specialty. I forget what the chapter is called. You know, I have several folders there. There's fashion, there's craft supplies, there's beauty, and then there's home deck, and then there's also kitchen. So kitchen or food specialties, so excuse me, something like that. So all my favorite kitchen gadgets are in there. And I have to say, this particular gadget, which is not expensive at all, has truly brought me to the new level of cooking meat. So I don't know why I felt inspired to tell you that this morning, but I was walking out of here. Thea, it's not expensive at all. I know it's under $20. I think it's under $20 or right around there, and it's magnetized. I lost mine when I moved here recently, or I lost mine when I moved here, which was almost 2 years ago now, rebought it. And in one of the conversations I had the other day with somebody who said somebody who I know to be a decent cook, said she has no success with cooking meat. I happen to have the second one, and I said, here, problem solved. This has changed my life. And she has had this much better experience now that I explained to her how to use this. And I don't know, I've had like three conversations about it since. It makes such a huge difference. And so the other thing that I've learned with barbecuing is to keep, when you're making bigger pieces of meat, turn that temperature down. Not everything cooks on high on the barbecue. And being self-taught, you don't know what you don't know in the beginning. So between the meat thermometer and temperature control, I'm becoming a great grill person. And I do want to come outside for cooking live videos because I think that grilling is not difficult, and I would love to share my experiences there. Yeah, I can't recommend this enough. If you have trouble with overcooking and undercooking your meat, I highly recommend this, and it's not expensive. Now, am I a grill master? No, but for those of you who are excellent at grilling, no, I'm not going to impress you with my grilling tips and tricks. But anybody who's not, I think that I could probably help you with my experiences. So I don't know why I felt inspired to tell you that off the bat, but I did. Thank you, Thea. Yes, Joe, this has been in my Amazon shop for a long time. So under the food category, you may have to scroll down a little bit, but it's definitely in there. Anyway, so enough about that. I guess I can show you what earrings I'm wearing today. This is the fine chandelier earrings in Be So Fine bling yarn. Yeah, backup's always good, and having one that sits on the fridge with a magnet, you never lose it. Okay, so if you were with me yesterday, you know that I restocked Be So Toasty yarn, which has been out of stock all summer. I usually only carry Be So Toasty and Be So Cozy in the winter. I don't normally carry it in the summer. And so I relisted and came out with more colors than I did last year. It had a very good reception last year. Everybody was very happy with the limited colors I started with last year. You know, I always start small and grow if there's interest. And one of my business tips. Anyway, so this year I decided to come out with 13 colors, and now, no, you don't let the meat cook with the thermometer in it, you check it. Oh, hopefully everything's okay, Judy. Hi, Linda. Yes, I've heard that as well, Thea. So as you know, I came out with 13 gorgeous colors, all hand-dyed of Be So Toasty yarn yesterday, and I know everybody was super excited about the colors yesterday. And then after the podcast, I got inundated with questions all across social media, email, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, where else? I don't know, wherever else people contact me. There's a lot of places people can contact me, and I got lots and lots of questions about But and I had said that it's a number one fingering weight. You can use any of my number one fingering weight patterns, but what have you made with it? And I didn't bring out stuff that I had made with it yesterday. Unfortunately, I've sold one of the scarves that I made with it, although the patterns are still available. So the Celeste knit scarf, which is one of those skinny scarves that is kind of like a mini shawlette. It goes side to side with a beautiful razor edge edging as you're making it, and we added star beads to the points of the edging. That pattern's in my knitting pattern shop, and it is a one ball project in Be So Toasty yarn. Then I also did 2 projects. What book was that for? That was for Layers Knit, I believe. And then in Layers Crochet, I made these gorgeous Rachel fingerless mitts. I could only find one this morning, unfortunately. But you can see it uses post stitches to make this beautiful floral offset pattern. And you can make 1 pair of these with 1 ball of Be So Toasty yarn. And then the other piece, I think this was everybody's favorite last year, was the Minka cowl, which is a cowl that's extra long, so you could wear it as a hood even. Has a simple and beautiful stitch pattern. And it has the crochet fringe along the bottom with a little picot in the bottom. So all these patterns are available in my Amazon shop. This one might have, oh, these 2 were in 52 handmade gifts. Yes, Grace. Celeste Shawlette, which I don't have anymore, is from Layers Knit. These 2 are from 52 crochet gifts. However, all 3 of them are available as single pattern PDFs as well. And so this is the Rachel fingerless mitts, and this is the Minka cowl, which is long enough to wear as a hood, or you can wear it just bunched up here, and it has such beautiful drape, and that fringe along the bottom frames your neck and your collarbones like a yoke. It's so pretty. It is really hot here today, so I really don't want to put it on. I'm already sweating. This is going to be hot, but I know someone's going to ask me to put it on, so I may as well just do it. Look at how beautiful that fits. Anytime you make a cowl and you make one size stretchier or wider than the other, it allows the cowl to sit and splay out over your shoulders like this. So I always like, I either make the whole thing uniform where it's same on the top and the bottom, especially on bigger ones, but when you make a smaller one like this, I think it's really narrower, I think it's really lovely to let it splay out at the bottom so it's narrower at the top and wider at the bottom, and adding that chain fringe is what did that. But how gorgeous is that just silhouette right there? I just love it. And anyway, so this is long enough that if you needed to, if it was super cold outside, you could even put it on like this to cover your hair. If it was windy or snowing, really, really cute to do underneath your coat. Anyway, that's that. And this is also a one ball project. But what I thought might be fun this morning is to show you some of my other number one fingering weight shawls, because this yarn would be amazing for a shawl. And don't forget, shawls are not always meant to be worn open and wrapped, but you can also tie them up to make them ponchos or make them capelets, or drape them from the front to the back to make beautiful cowls and scarves. So this yarn would be amazing for any of my number one fingering weight yarn shawls. So I was going to show you some of those this morning, and while I do, what I wanted to talk about is when you're doing yarn substitution, you need to pay attention to the yardage of different yarns. So Be So Toasty yarn is 590 yards per 4 ounces. Be So Fine yarn is 650 yards per 4 ounces, and I can't remember Be So Fine Bling, but let's look it up real quick because I know someone will test me on it if it's 575 yards. Okay, so this is going to be important, because if you're looking at a pattern that says it's a one ball project in any of those yarns, you want to keep in mind that they were made with different yardage yarns, right? So if it's a one ball project It really means nothing when yarn substitution, right? It only means something if you're making the exact pattern with the exact yarn. So before I go any further, does anyone have any questions about that? Do you understand what you would do when it comes to yarn substitution? So yes, now these patterns cost $1.99 a piece for a PDF download. So let's say you want to make a pattern that's, okay, let's say you want to make a Be So Fine bling pattern. Let's see if I find one in here. A Be So Fine bling pattern that says it's a one ball project. Of course I can't find one now. And it's 575 yards. And then you're going to say, well, I want to use Be So Toasty yarn that's 590 yards. Well, the yarn you want to use has higher yardage than the yarn that was used in the project. So you'd be fine for a one ball project. If, let's say you're making a project that is in Be So Fine yarn, let's get an example of that. Okay, let's say you wanted to make the Molten Lava crochet shawl. This is a one ball project in Be So Fine yarn, but you wanted to use Be So Toasty. This uses 650 yards of Be So Fine yarn, which is a one ball project, but in Be So Toasty, it's 590 yards, so you'd have to dip into a second ball. But here's the good news. You wouldn't have to dip far into the second ball of yarn, which means you'd probably have enough left over to still make a Minka cowl or a pair of Rachel fingerless mitts. So the good news when you dip into a second ball is that you have extra yards to make a second project too. So keep that in mind. Sometimes it's a good thing when you need to dip into a second ball. Here is another example of a beautiful Be So Fine pattern that's a one ball project. This is the Be So Fine sampler shawl, and this is 650 yards. So yes, you would need to dip into a second ball of Be So Toasty, but it would make an amazing project. And then keep in mind, for the winter, don't forget you can take a shawl and wrap it front to back and have a scarf or a cowl depending on how you tie it. If I left it long, this is definitely just a wrapped scarf, which is so pretty because of the half circle shape. It gives you those beautiful asymmetrical lines, right? But then if you wanted to take it a step further and make it more of a cowl, you could tie it or you could pin it. And sometimes when I do that, I think it's even more interesting to pull that off to the side, pull the middle part out, and you can still see them ruffling a little bit because of the half circle shape. So yes, would you need to dip into a second ball to go from 590 yards to 650? Yes, but after you do, you'd have plenty left over to make a cowl or a skinny scarf or something else too. So that's actually good news. Here is the Sunny Isles crochet shawl, which is also a really nice piece for a scarf. Now let's say something dips into 2 balls of yarn for Be So Fine yarn. You would still want to pay attention to the yardage, because more than likely once you go into a 2-ball project like any of the Cardi vests, they're going to run about the same, but some of them are sized. And so like for example, the Sally shawl, the Sally Cardi shawl, I don't know if I have it in here, but anyways, you can find it on my website. Gosh, there was a shawl I wanted to show you this morning, and I thought it was right on top here, but it's not now. Anyway, oh, and then keep in mind any of the color work shawls like this, like the Marissa knit lace shawl. Even though this is in 3 colors, don't forget you can do all of this in a 1-color project too. Right? So anytime you're shopping patterns on my website and you see something in 1 color, you can make it in a bunch of colors. Or if you see something in a bunch of colors, don't forget you could still make that in 1 color too. Wanted to show you a few fingering weight yarn patterns that you could see that there are plenty of things that you could choose from for Be So Toasty, even though I know a lot of people were hoping that I had shawl patterns in Be So Toasty yarn, and no, I do not at the moment, but I do have shawl patterns that would work beautifully for a #1 fingering weight yarn. This is the Olivia shawl in Be So Fine yarn. I can't remember the name of this one, but I sure do love it. This is from Layers Knit. Does anybody remember the name of this one? It has this beautiful lace panel offset with drop stitches, and this is carrying Be So Fine Bling yarn with Be So Dazzling yarn. So you could definitely substitute Be So Toasty or Be So Fine for the Be So Fine Bling in here. I just can't remember the name of it. It's so pretty though. I love this one. I would love to wear this one out in the evening. Wouldn't that be beautiful? See all those sequins sparkling. Oh, thanks, Geraldine. I try. And here's another one ball shawl with Be So Fine yarn. This is the Lila Berry shawl. Isn't that pretty with those mini pineapples? It's a top-down shawl. These are mini pineapples that I truly think look like strawberries. I've always said that. This would be great in Be So Toasty yarn as well, or Be So Fine Bling, or Be So Fine. You could add beads to it if you want. You could do this in multiple colors if you want. I think it's pretty in one color. And again, remember, if you wanted to wear it as a cowl or a scarf, which is a great flexibility to have this time of year, now that it's getting colder everywhere, is that you wrap it from front to back to front, and then you've got a scarf slash cowl too. Isn't that beautiful? And who would have guessed that this is a big triangular lace shawl, right? It just looks so different. And you can still see the texture of the lace when you come close too. It's not like it gets lost because it's, you know, folded up on itself. You can still see. Look at that strawberry right there. How cutie, right? Bummer, I had one shawl I wanted to specifically show you this morning. I have a feeling I know where it is, but thank you now. Oh yeah, I need to remake this shawl. This one I designed for a pattern book that was written by Robin Chichula, I think, and I have the rights back to it now. And when I made, in fact, I have to tell you, the video tutorials that I made for this shawl, I have gotten so much negative comments on over the years, like people just nasty about it sometimes, and it's because I don't own the rights to the pattern, so I can only give supplemental tips and tricks, and people have been outraged that I don't share the whole pattern in videos. And I'm like, well, it's not, I don't have publishing rights to it. I can't share everything with you. It's available from the publisher, and here's where the book is. And to this day, to this day, I still get yelled at on that video. Anyway, one of these days, I will rewrite the pattern, or a similar pattern, because it is so beautiful. It uses Bruges lace in spirals. Can you see it? If you have the book, I think it's called Modern Crochet Lace or something like that. If you have the book, you already have the pattern. But anyway, it's a really interesting concept, and I've done this concept in other books and other patterns, but it is a spiral done in Bruges lace and then with a beautiful edging along the bottom. Also a one ball project in Be So Fine yarn. Looking for more Be So Fine patterns in here. Oh, here's a good example. This is a 2-ball project in Be So Fine yarn, the Chantilly lace vest. And what I wanted to point out about this one is that it dips into a second ball. So that doesn't mean that when you're switching from Be So Fine to Be So Toasty that you would go from 2 to 3 balls. It means that they would, and the yardage is shown on the pattern, so you can figure out the math from there. But this piece would still only be, it's a 2-ball project in Be So Fine, and it would still be a 2-ball project in Be So Toasty or Be So Fine Bling yarn as well. Isn't that beautiful? You can wear this one in so many ways. So that's how it looks from front to back when you put it on just normal. You could definitely pin it here or tie it here. You could make a corset tie with a crochet chain to wear it here. I think you could also just pick up a piece of the yarn, because this is so light and drapey. You could also tie it if you wanted to like this, or use a butterfly clip, a shawl pin. I mean, you could even put a button there if you wanted to. And so that's what it looks like from front to back when you do that. Now, because this is the type of cardi wrap where the sleeves are right in the middle, meaning not in the top third or the bottom third, but right centered in the middle, centered from top to bottom. One interesting thing that you can do with this one is fold it. I've talked about this before, but it's been a while. So okay, so I'm going to hold this sleeve at the top and hold this sleeve at the bottom, from the bottom, and see how we get one twist in there. When I've got the one twist in there, not twisted more than once, see, it's just that overlap triangle piece. Watch how I magically transform this from a cardi wrap into something that looks more like an actual vest. You're gonna freak out. This is amazing. Look at the back now. The back just kind of overlaps, doesn't it? Yeah, it overlaps more as a vest, and you could still pin it with a butterfly clip. You could pin it with a shawl pin. Let's see, do I have anything out here that would work? Nope. Of course I don't right now, but you can see you could corset tie this with a crochet chain. You could leave it open. And look at how beautiful it looks from front to back. Would you have ever guessed that turning, just folding it that one time? This is called the Chantilly lace vest. Do you want me to show you how I folded it again? Because I know it seemed kind of like magic. You want me to show that again? I'll wait and see. Okay, I'll show how to fold it again. And then we'll move on to show you how many other ways you could still wear this too. Okay, so here it is open. In fact, before we go any further, let's just, don't forget, this would be amazing as a scarf, right? This is a 2-ball project, whether you use Be So Fine yarn, Be So Fine bling, or Be So Toasty, any of my #1 fingering weight yarns, this would be a 2-ball project. So, wrapped as a scarf, beautiful, tied for a cowl, beautiful. Love how the edging looks, just gorgeous, right? You could tie this a second time even. You could come around and fold it in half and do that kind of a scarf as well, right? And it really features the lace really well. I mean, the lace edging looks absolutely gorgeous like that, where it's all ruffled together. But here's the magic one again. Okay, so we're going to take this buttonhole. We're going to take this armhole and hold it from the top, this armhole and hold it from the bottom, and then bring them both up. Okay? And when you do that, you just get that one triangle overlap. Don't do it more than once, just the one time, so it just overlaps like that, okay? And then once you do that, put your arms in each hole. Adjust that flap, you know, just zhuzh around to get it right. And there we go. We have something that actually looks like a fitted vest. I think it's just amazing. Thanks, Yana. Isn't that just amazing? I think that's fantastic. Now, other questions that I get about this one all the time. Other questions I get asked all the time is, how do I make this bigger? And that is a great question, because if you're not big on spatial math, it doesn't seem so obvious, right? So quick rundown of the construction. The construction, you start with foundation ovals and you work out in either direction, right? So if you're working side to side, it is a number of multiples of the row that determines the length of the wrap, right? And or the width of the wrap. And however many rows you work from the center out determines how wide it is, okay? So let's put it on again. So we can talk about that in regards to what you would want to change about this. Let's say you want this to close more in the back and maybe come forward a bit more here, so that you would want this piece to be wider here, right? Especially if you're larger than me. You may want this to be wider here. That would be increasing the number of foundation ovals at the beginning of the project. This pattern happens to be a multiple of 3 foundation ovals to work the stitch pattern. So if you wanted this to be bigger this way, you would adjust the number of foundation ovals. If you wanted this to be longer or shorter this way, you would increase or decrease the number of rows in the pattern. That's it. Isn't that great? I know I'm missing everyone's comments. It's impossible to get up and get all physical and read comments at the same time. So if your questions are important, then repeat them, come back and write them in the fixed comments. Email Judy after the show, judi@kristinomdahl.com. I'm happy to help any way that I can. There are videos on this pattern also. I do have specific styling videos on this pattern, and I also have tutorial video on this pattern, so you can find that here on my YouTube channel as well. The pattern as written with detailed charts is a $1.99 download on my website. I think Judy has posted a link to it already. And I'm missing comments. Let's see. Thank you, Melissa. Melissa just shared a link to the vest pattern. Yes, so think about it. You can make it in any color. That's a good point. You can also make it in Be So Fine yarn. You can make it in Be So Fine bling yarn. And now you can make it in any one of these 13 colors of Be So Toasty yarn. Since I have it out, maybe somebody wasn't here yesterday, I'll quickly show you the colors that are brand new, right off, just finished dyeing this weekend. This is Periwinkle. This is Orchid. This is Cactus Flower. This is Peach Whisper. This is Pine Forest and Indigo, Enchanted Jasmine, Disco Purple, Gray Flannel, Rose Petal. I can't believe I'm remembering all these colors again today. Hot diggity dog. This is Aqua, Blue Mist, and Gold. Oh, also, I had some technical issues yesterday uploading to YouTube, so I know I promised that part 4 of the video series for the Larissa scarf was going to premiere at 10 a.m. today. It is not uploaded yet. I'm going to try to upload it again when the podcast is over. So most likely it will be live premiered today, but there will not be any notice. So if you're getting notifications, you'll get notified when it goes live. Otherwise, it will be a video on my YouTube channel later today as well. Christine wants to know if you could make this vest in Be So Baby yarn. Well, you'd be yarn substituting from a number 1 to a number 3 weight yarn, so there would definitely be some differences in your gauge, but if you're comfortable adjusting gauge, you could certainly try it and see if you like the look and feel of it. Absolutely, why not? Go for it. All right, thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the show and tell, trying on stuff and being silly. Hope you enjoyed chatting with me and everyone else. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.